Sunday baseball from sunny St. Petersburg and Tropicana Field. And every Sunday here at the Trop is always a Kids' Day. The Rays in line for a 3-game sweep of the Jays, outscoring Toronto 11-5 in the process. We're set for Game 3 in the getaway game between Tampa Bay and Toronto. Hi, everybody. Inside Tropicana Field, another day of Rays baseball on Fox Sports Sun alongside Orestes Estrada. I'm Rich Hollenberg. Dwayne Stats, Brian Anderson will be along momentarily. And obviously, the Rays offense has been on the rise for the last couple of weeks. As a matter of fact, since April 18th, almost a month, the Rays have the #1 batting average in Major League Baseball and the best on-base percentage as well.
Yeah, that's no joke. I mean, that's a major sampling that we're seeing now after kind of the hiccup early on. But out of spring training, I felt very comfortable with this team being that slashing team, that run-and-gun Rays that I talked about with a smattering of power. But has really surprised me has been how situational their hitting has been, how good, how they can fight off pitches. They're 2-strike hitting, second in the league only to Boston, and 2-strike on-base percentage leading the league above Boston. So this is a team that has creative at-bats, and you got to commend their hitting coach, their guru, Chad Mottola.
Well, Chad Mottola is certainly deserving of a lion's share of the credit. Ask any batter in the lineup, they'll tell you as much. Here's the man they call Motor with a little tip for your aspiring big leaguers.
One of the main things I like to talk about, we all grew up wanting to punch something. Get in a position where you feel comfortable punching something, whether that's wide out here, whether it's skinny. Guys will get in all different positions, whether they're tall. Some people are leg loaders, some people are hand loaders. There's no right answer. Everybody, like I said, is structurally different. So go ahead and let's see your basic setup, and we'll talk about it. Right here, you see how he has his bent knees. It's nice and athletic, and he's starting balance. Go ahead and load a little bit, whatever that means to you. So he has a very good load where he uses a little bit in his legs and a little bit in his hands. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. We have guys that start here, guys that start open, guys that start with their hands high. There's nothing right or wrong. But the most important thing is that they're comfortable. The more comfortable they are, the more athletic they can be. And the whole goal, like I said, is to be balanced and fire your hands. You have control of your hands, the less this does. Now, younger kids, they're going to need a little more to generate some power. Let them have fun. Let them generate more power, because that has to happen just because they're not physically strong enough yet.
And Rich, one of the strengths I'm already noticing about hitting coach Chad Mottola, not only is his patience, but his understanding that everybody is different, and he can, kind of get in there and figure out each guy individually instead of being this guru who's like my way or no way. That really is very good.
Very democratic process for the Rays, and it's paying big dividends with the offense rolling right now. When we come back on Kids Sunday at Tropicana Field, Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson will have the call. Enjoy Sunday baseball. We'll see you for the postgame, everybody.
Mason. Who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Tampa Bay Rays. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. This afternoon, the Rays will send the right-hander Chris Archer to the mound, looking for a sweep after victories of 6-2 and 5-3. Toronto counters with righty Marco Estrada.
Don't forget, Storm Team 8 is here to raise up your weather awareness. And from all of us at News Channel 8, enjoy today's match.
Giving the Rays their 6th consecutive victory at Tropicana Field. Today, the hometown 9 look to return to 500 behind the right arm of Chris Archer and sweep the Blue Jays out of Tampa Bay. Chris Archer heads to the mound for the Rays, making his 8th start. Wrap-up game of this series between the Rays and the Toronto Blue Jays before the Atlanta Braves come calling on this 5-game homestand. This is the middle game of this homestand. Wrap-up game against Toronto. Let's take a look at the starting lineup this afternoon for Toronto, presented by your local Ford dealers. Leading off for John Gibbons, Oscar Hernandez in right with Josh Donaldson at third. Yangervis Solarte is at second base, hitting third in front of Justin Smoke, Kevin Pillar, Kendrys Morales, Anthony Alford, Luke Maile, and then Aledmus Diaz to round it out.
Well, Chris Archer will be making his 8th start of the season. The record 2-2, ERA of 6.05, 38 2/3 innings of work, 42 strikeouts.
Hernandez in there, and the first pitch of this game from Archer popped up. It's Brad Miller at first base making the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Can't be more efficient than that. Let's take a look at the Rays defense and see how it's going to line up here this afternoon. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. And in the outfield left to right, we have Denard Span, Malik Smith, and Carlos Gomez. And across that infield third to first, Matt Duffy, Daniel Robertson, Joey Wendell, and Brad Miller. Wilson Ramos once again behind the dish.
And here is Josh Donaldson. Donaldson hitting .238. Just recently back active from the shoulder issue. And he takes the first pitch strike. 5 home runs, 13 runs batted in for Donaldson. And Archer pours a strike in there at 95. Archer has had his share of success against this Toronto ball club. One hopper. This is Wendell shaded toward the middle, and he makes that play. 2 up and 2 down. A pop up and a ground out.
Second baseman, number 26, Jan-Hervé Solarte.
That'll be the second baseman, Jan-Hervé Solarte. He has been the DH here in the first couple games. Morales slips back into the DH role with Justin Smoke returning to the Toronto ball club after paternity leave. So here's Solarte, 9 home runs, leading the team. Pops it up, foul ball, that will carry out a play.
Well, this Toronto Blue Jay lineup ready to hit. As you saw, Hernandez going after the first pitch. Now here's Solarte. Chris Archer, you watch him pitch enough, and this team has seen him enough, knows that he likes to establish that fastball early in the ball game, so be ready for anything out over.
1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. Well, the Rays would like to get some innings from Archer. He's averaging just a little over 5 innings a start, and left after 6 in his last start against Detroit. So they could use some innings from him. It's fouled back. 2 and 2.
You know, he has yet to complete 7 innings in a start this season. You only mention it because he did it 10 times a year ago, and it certainly looked like he was well on his way to doing that his last time out. The 6 innings, you know, he gave up the 2 runs, but 90 pitches. That right there is the key. He's usually better for much more than 90, but comes out after the 90 pitches a game. The Rays would lose 2-1.
And a cut and a miss. Solarte out on strikes. A 1-2-3 first inning. We're headed into the bottom of the first. Rays coming in to hit. This afternoon, the rest of the lineup presented by your local Ford dealers. We'll have C.J. Cron, the DH, Matt Duffy, then Brad Miller. Wilson Ramos continues his hitting streak. Joey Wendell hits 6th in front of Daniel Robertson. Malik Smith, celebrating his birthday today, will hit 8th. And it will be Carlos Gomez playing right and hitting 9th.
Well, all against Marco Estrada, making his 7th start of the year, 2-2 with a 6.19.
And the first pitch, breaking ball, is in there for a strike.
And trying to get back on track. It was a good start to the season for Estrada. He was 1-0 with a 277. after his first 2 starts. The last 4, the ERA up over 8.5.
It's 1-1. Well, he will not blow you away, but you'll see a lot of that change-up, curveball. He'll cut it a little bit. And the Rays have had their share of success against him.
You remember the first 2 starts that he made against the Rays, they couldn't hit him.
Yep.
I mean, he's going 8 shutout, 8 2/3 shutout, and boy, did they figure something out after that, because you're right, they have tuned him up in his 8 starts, 10 overall. But the last 8 going back over the last couple of seasons.
Well, look at the breakout here.
Well, and the first 7, those are 5 games out of the bullpen, and then 2 starts, and then the last 7 starts.
0-7 with an 874. Look out.
That's where you start to wonder, what do they know?
Yeah.
What do they see? What do they know? Because you usually don't tune up one guy with numbers like that. You know, it's one thing to have a bad start that kind of skews the numbers, but you're taking a loss every time out, and it's not been pretty.
Two and 2. Span in the leadoff spot last night, was on a couple times. Scored a run, drove home a run. Pops it into shallow center. Diaz starts out from short and makes that catch with his back to the infield, over the shoulder, almost face to face with Kevin Pillar, the center fielder, coming in.
Dwayne, we mentioned last night how Diaz has really impressed with the defense during the course of this series. He just continues to do it. You've got one of the better center fielders in the league coming straight in, and you're going to take that basket over the shoulder away from him.
An opening breaking ball outside to Crone. It's been great to have a close-up shot of Pillar's face. 2-0. Well, Diaz coming over from St. Louis in the National League. There's Pillar. Diaz. A couple of pretty good defenders right there for this Toronto ball club. Outstanding.
How many times have you heard that? You've got to be strong up the middle.
Yep.
Diaz is certainly that at shortstop. Pillar, one of the better center fielders.
Crone now even in the count. CJ on base last night with a base hit, had his hitting streak come to an end here on Friday, but he did reach base and score a run in that game. So he's been on base in 12 consecutive games and is called out on strikes right there. Fastball picking up the corner.
Yeah, that strike zone right there is going to benefit, obviously, anybody out there on the mound, but especially Marco Estrada, if he can expand like that, and he just goes, you know, his fastball stays pretty straight and true. You got a great shot of it right there, and that just catches that edge, maybe just a little off.
2 up, 2 down. Now Matt Duffy. Pitch is a strike. But if that called strike 3 on Crone is any indication, it's a getaway strike zone. Swing the bats, boys.
Well, I don't know if we've seen a rehack, Jeremy, you know, behind the plate, but he looks to be one of those umpires right now that's looking to call a strike.
Yeah, which is great.
Yep.
You know, he's a young umpire, really spent most of his time recently in the International League and has filled in. He's 30 years old. Out of Pennsylvania. And there's another strike. 1 and 2. And that's, we've talked about pace of game, time of game, all of that. You open that strike zone a little bit, things will move. High foul up the right side, out of play.
I just like the umpires that have that mindset. You're going to have to talk me out of calling a strike.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to have to be definitive. That ball's out. If it's close, I'm calling it a strike. We're going to move things.
They talk about wanting to put a clock in each park to time between pitches, which I think is unsightly. If they really want to address it, tell those umpires, here's the policy. You know, they change stuff every year with umpires. Little things here and there around the game. Let's go. Let's get it going. I think that'd be great. Foul ball out of play. Certainly beat putting a clock out there.
Well, and you know that you wonder if it'll ever come to that. They've done it in the minor leagues, implemented that clock, and you hope that starts to train guys and get them into the.
And that's a great idea. You know, the minor leagues, okay, if you want to do that, fine. Pitch is outside.
But you're down there long enough pitching with that pitch clock. It probably builds a habit. That's how you pitch now.
Yep.
You're all of a sudden not going to change that once you get to the big leagues. Hopefully that's the effect that it has, but you're right. Calling strikes helps too.
And there's a cut to miss. Duffy out on strikes. A 1-2-3 inning, and we'll go to the second. No score.
Smoke. Let's take a look at a scouting report on Justin. First of all, welcome back. You know, he missed the first couple of games of this series, was placed on paternity leave. He and his wife, she gave birth to a little baby girl, but he's now back in the lineup. And once he's back in that lineup, he is a middle of the order presence and really exploded into that role a season ago. Hit 38 home runs last year, off to a pretty good start this season with 4 already and 18 driven in.
Ed Archer's first pitch to him is a strike call. Archer had a nifty first inning, 9 pitches and a 1-2-3, and now against Smoke. Smoke a .263 average against Archer with a home run and 13 strikeouts in the head-to-head matchup between Chris Archer and Justin Smoke. One and two.
Well, it's your classic power-on-power matchup, and Justin Smoke has become that type of guy. You see the way that the Rays are going to play him defensively. Take Daniel Robertson, put him out there in shallow right field.
Now 2-2.
And you understand that. You know, with a guy like Smoke, he's not worried about the defense. He's looking for a pitch out over the plate that he can elevate and drive, and he can drive the ball, as you see with the outfielders, the way that they're lined up all over the field. Pretty straight up.
A little chop to the right side. Archer will have to cover and take the toss from Miller. Smoke is out number 1. Kevin Pillar. Pillar at 310. And the fastball upstairs, 1-0. One. Pillar had a hit last night, 1 for 4, 1 for 8 in the series. And he lines it toward the corner and left. Span will have to get it at the base of the wall. And that's the 14th double of the year for Pillar already. Well, he is off and running in the double department.
Well, and you know, he's hit safely in 11 of his last 12 now. Gets a hanging slider. That pitch just spinning, staying right in the middle of the plate. And that's what teams have been able to take advantage on with Chris this season. I think that's always been a great pitch for Chris Archer. I don't think it's as sharp as it was a season ago, at least not to this point. At times you'll see it flash. Other times it flattens out a little bit, and teams have been able to put some good swings on those pitches.
Well, that'll be something to watch. Here is Morales taking a pitch high.
Well, you remember, you know, a season ago, it was that early in games especially, when he came with the slider, it was that 88, 90 mile an hour curveball look and had tons of depth to it. You haven't seen that same depth, or at least the consistency of that depth here in 2018.
Now Morales hits one deep to left. Span at the track will make the catch. It's going to be the second out. And holding at second is Pillar. Thinking about this Morales and Archer matchup, Morales, who has really been tough against the Rays, right now is 0 for 20 overall, and he's had a good run of success against Archer, who just got him on that fly ball toward the corner.
It doesn't look like that little extra bit of bat speed is there right now. You know, that's a pitch a season ago as an opposite field homer.
Yep.
Just doesn't have the same carry, not the same explosion to the baseball.
Anthony Alford up here takes a strike.
Things start to slow down just a little bit. You've got to try to find a way to fight Father Time and do what you need to do to try to speed it back up. We've seen guys be able to do it, but it's not easy.
A cut and a miss, and that one disappeared on Alford. 0-2. For 23 years old. Pillar jumping back and forth off second. Down and away. Now it's 1-2. Luke Maile is on deck. Upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alford had just a little bit of playing time in the big leagues last year. 4 games with Toronto. And a cut and a miss. He's out on strikes. So a man left at second on the Pillar double. We go to the bottom of the second with Brad Miller due to lead off. Wilson Ramos to follow. exclusively for Rays season ticket holders, blending hospitality and comfort, offering local craft beers and signature food items. Tropicana Field's premier destination area exclusively for Rays season ticket holders. The Republic Bank Draft Room. Call 888-FAN-RAYS for info. Brad Miller leading off the second inning for the Rays. 1-0. Brad has had a difficult time against Estrada. So he has a little catching up to do. 1 for 16. That hits a double.
Think about how Brad Miller, how much he loves the fastball, specifically the four-seam fastball, and then the way that Estrada has been able to play that changeup off of that. That's where the success comes from.
2-1. And a little tap by second base, and they throw. Boy, Miller made it close over there. The ball not hit that hard, and Diaz throws him out.
You know, you're right about that, Dwayne, and the sense of timing by Diaz, realizing that, you know, he's a little deeper, the ball not hit that hard, and so he's going to come in, field it, and watch how quickly the ball gets out of the glove, knowing he doesn't have a lot of time. Waits, okay, now get rid of it right now, and he just does get him. You wait just a hair, and Brad Miller's going to beat that out, and look how close.
Wow, that's some great hustle by Miller, too. Knowing that the ball was a bounding ball, not hit that hard, he had a chance. Now Ramos sends one foul up the right side, out of play. Wilson Ramos with a 13-game hitting streak. His longest ever is 19. That was with Washington back in 2015. Hitting .307 overall. Our Toyota key stat update. See Ramos with 13. Andrelton Simmons on that list as well. Markakis, boy, I'll tell you, we saw Nick Markakis there with the Braves. He's tearing it up. The Braves will be in here, by the way, on Tuesday.
Yep.
A little interleague action. And they have some guys in that lineup swinging the hot bat. Ground ball sharply hit past Donaldson. Boy, that ball was drilled into left.
Well, that's going to keep that hitting streak going. He spun Donaldson around. I think that ball had too many MPHs on it to give Donaldson an error. That ball was absolutely ripped, and you're going to see Josh Donaldson try to olay this thing and end up going right to the ground.
There will be a hit to extend the hitting streak now to 14.
Boy, trying to make some kind of play on it. Could not even get the glove there in time as it came up on him a little bit. Spun him all the way around.
Well, Joey Wendell takes the pitch inside on the corner for a strike.
It's not often that you see a ground ball spin a big league infielder in a circle. But I'll tell you what,
It is down, especially a hard-nosed guy like Donaldson.
Yeah.
But that's going to spin anybody. If it spins him, it'll spin anybody.
they call it the hot corner.
Yeah.
And when these big boys get the head out and rip it down that way, oof.
Wendell pops it foul. That's going to be back a third and out of play. Well, Wendell got back into the lineup last night against the right-hander Sanchez. Went 0 for 4. He had swung the bat very well in recent days. Seeing mostly right-handed pitching, and Estrada with the 1-2 pitch, and it's skied to center. Wendell a little off balance there. Skies out.
We'll have to see what this Rays lineup does with Estrada the second time through, especially these guys like Joey Wendell and some of the guys that probably haven't seen Estrada that much. That changeup, that's what it's designed to do. It's not one of the changeups. You think about Faria, Jake Faria's changeup. It's like a split, and it has that kind of finish. Marco Estrada's changeup, not that way. More of that Bugs Bunny type changeup, just never seems to get there.
Well, you see what happens second and third times through. So we'll see if that holds true. Daniel Robertson, who is 3 of 6 in his young career against Estrada, takes a strike.
I think these hitters start to feel like, hey, I can sit back a little bit longer because I'm not worried about getting beat by velocity. You're talking 88, 89. I can just sit back a little longer. Maybe gives me more time to recognize that change.
A good take up, 1-1. 2 outs with Ramos at first. Estrada last year 10-9, but finished with an earned run average pushing 5. It was .498. Alex Smith on deck. Fly ball lifted towards center. Pilar making the call and the catch. Rays get a hit, leave a man. We go to the third, no score. CanesStrikeout.com for a printed home voucher. Take it to Canes Furniture within 7 days and receive a coupon for 2 free tacos and chips at participating area Tijuana Flats locations. Restrictions apply. Luke Maile will lead it off. The former Rays catcher and now catching the second game of this series. Caught the first game. Martin behind the plate last night, and now Maile here today. Fouls it away. Diaz next, and then Hernandez. One and one. Maile had a hit his first time up in this series. Hitting .319 on the year. 2-1. Diaz on deck. Ground ball by the mound. Robertson from shortstop with the pickup and throw. That'll be the first out in the third.
Well, these Toronto Blue Jay hitters are definitely looking to swing the bat early. And so if you're Chris Archer, you can make some good quality pitches early. Not only can you get ahead of these guys, you can get some quick outs too, which goes to what you're talking about, Dwayne, being able to consistently get deeper into games. And that's what Kevin Cash wants out of his starters.
First pitch strike to Diaz. Well, the way the season started for the Rays, I mean, they were initially going to have 4 starters, then the bullpen day, and then they found themselves with 3 starters and a couple bullpen days. There's a shot back into center. But Malik Smith should have room as he hits the track. He makes the catch, and Diaz is the second out. But that whole idea of the bullpen day, whether it's 3 or 4 starters, or recently has been 4, you want to get some innings out of your regular starters if you're going to spread the workload there and go to the bullpen for one of those days to cover a game.
You have to. You absolutely have to. Not to mention that even when you go to the bullpen, how many true like 1 inning, late inning type, or 1 inning, late inning type relievers do you have? You know, you've got some guys that are down there that are spread out, that are more the 2 or 3 inning guy, and so it's not your typical bullpen. And so you need we've seen the Rays run into some instances where the late inning guys get used up for 2 or 3 days in a row, and then all of a sudden guys are getting thrown into roles that they're not normally accustomed to undertaking, and it makes things difficult. But you need these guys to consistently get you deep, and I think Kevin Cash, if you're pitching effectively, he's going to give you that leash.
Yeah, he wants you to stay in there.
Yep. I don't think the trigger or the hook is going to be as quick as it may have been a season ago. You're pitching well, you're going to stay out there.
Yep. So far, Archer's been very efficient. He threw a great pitch, the second pitch here to Hernandez, a really good slider that had him chasing. Now it's 1-2 after the foul ball.
And a chance to put him away. You know, that 34, 35 pitches through 3, that is beyond ideal.
And a cut and a miss. He strikes him out. 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the third. No score. Jays. The Toyota inside look chronicles the Rays turnaround from their first 15 3-12 to the last 16, 12-4. Starter ERA is a big deal, and so is runs per game.
No doubt about it. You get your starters to cut their ERA by 2, and you score a couple more per, guess what? You win games.
And that's been the difference on this club. It's really been fun to watch. It truly has been a fun team to watch during this stretch. Did he offer? He did not. CB Buckner down at third, says Malik Smith held up. 2-0.
You know, I know that the Rays have some good veteran leadership. You think about some of the guys that they've brought in. But at the same time, you know, having a lot of young guys too, and a lot of, you know, first-year guys with the team. The fact that they were able to turn it around as quickly as they did is really impressive to me, because you get off to a start like they did, 1-8, 4-13, and all of a sudden the head can start to hang and you find things start to snowball on you. This team not only didn't do that, they turned around and said, hey, we're better than this, and are proving it.
There is ball 4, and Malik Smith, who was on base all 4 times in the game last night, draws a walk on 4 pitches. You know, it's almost as if you get off to a bad start. There aren't many good feelings, you know, to get off to a start the way the Rays did. And you're going to look at each other and go, well, we're just going to slug through this and be miserable all summer. Or let's turn around and have some fun. And what you notice about just being around this group, it's a let's turn around and have a little fun. That doesn't mean they're not going to win at this rate, you know, for every 2-week period. They're going to have some difficult times, as every team does. But I think this team has something about it that's not satisfied to settle just to be miserable. You know? I mean,
there's a certain
they're going to get
moxie.
after it a little bit.
There's a certain moxie with this group, and they are going to have fun. I think they understand. You know, last year the Rays could score runs one way, and if the homers dried up, you didn't score. And if you hit 1 homer in a ball game, you probably had your 1 or 2 runs and you were done. But this team is understanding, hey, listen, we're built to move the baseball. How many times do you see, you know, guys in motion, stolen bases, hitting the ball the other way, laying sacrifice bunts now? And after all that, now the long ball has started to come around. So they realize, hey, we can beat you a lot of different ways.
Well, it's a multifaceted approach, which makes for, I think, a lot more fun.
And consistency.
It makes it more fun, I think, to watch, broadcast, to play, if you're a multifaceted team. There's just no question about that.
No, it's like real backyard baseball. You just never know what you're going to see on a night-to-night basis. Is it going to be the stolen base this afternoon? Is it going to be 2 or 3 homers?
There goes Malik Smith, and he is in there with a stolen base, head first. His 8th stolen base. He's been among the leaders in the American League in that department. Here it is.
Well, picked a good pitch to run on, too. Off speed. Maley does his best to get it off. And that throw, actually, they had a shot there. That ball mishandled. And that's something that has plagued the Blue Jays throughout this series. Shoddy defense.
Gomez takes it for a ball, 2-1. You know, Luke Maley, when he was with the Rays and came up through the system, everyone talked about his arm, and we saw it the other night. His issue has been framing pitches, receiving pitches, but there's no question about him throwing the ball, and he's made a couple of very good pegs down to second base in this series. 2-2 now. And in scoring position, first scoring opportunity here for the Rays.
Those two never far apart. Sucre and Ramos.
There's a liner into center, base hit. Charged by Pilar. And they'll put the stop sign up, throw to the plate, and back to third goes Malik Smith. Ball sharply hit by Gomez. Pilar got there in a hurry. And the Rays not gambling by holding Smith at third.
And not often are you going to see Malik Smith held up here on a base hit into center field, but with nobody out, you're right. There's just no reason to risk it. Pilar, a very good outfielder, charged that ball well, had a nice throw to the plate too. And here Malik Smith expecting to score, and he's got to put the brakes on. Jammed a foot there as he was coming around third base hot.
Now the top of the order, Denard Span. He takes a strike.
Doesn't he look concerned? This guy, you know,
he's been something.
Well, and when we talk about him working at bats, to be able to do that and have confidence to do that, you've got to be comfortable hitting with 2 strikes. And he's one of those guys that doesn't mind hitting with 2 strikes. And here he is.
Down 0-2, fouling that one away.
I hated hitting with 2 strikes. My zone got so large.
You know, I was thinking about holding Smith at third. Now, you're going to hold him in that situation. You're not going to gamble. And a lot of things go into that decision. Mostly you don't want a guy thrown out. But to have a guy like Denard Span, regardless of what he does in this at bat, to have him coming up next, and he is out on strikes. And so he is the first out. But all of that factors in. What kind of at bats do you have coming up in that situation? And one of the rare times there do you see Span strike out.
Man, he's been so good. I mean, his runners in scoring position numbers well documented. And so you combine him on the on-deck circle, nobody out, pretty good center fielder, a ball that gets to him quickly, and you're right, it all paints the picture.
There goes Gomez, throw down, and he is safe. He got in head first. So Gomez stealing second base. And I think John Gibbons, looking back at his video guy, will see what they decide to do.
Boy, he got a good jump. Great anticipation by Gomez. And I mean, you can take a look at it if you want, but there's going to be nothing definitive. That hand, left hand, looks like it's on the bag as the tag was applied. This has got stands written all over it, at least initially, but who knows?
So it'll be Field and Colbert coming in along with Brian O'Nora.
Well, that angle right there gives maybe Toronto a chance. That was awfully close. You're glad the call went the Rays' way on the field.
Right now, the Rays have men at second and third.
Watch how close this is. The tag, and is the hand to the bag yet?
Well, he's out.
Yeah. You know, when you're sliding into second base, you're not going fingertips first. That hand, the fingers come up, and it's the palm of the hand that hits the bag. And I think that's where they got Gomez. That hand just had not reached second left, and that was a great shot that we had of it.
So now the Rays lose that call. 2 outs now with a man at third. This one is fouled straight back. First time Gomez has been caught stealing this year. And now down the line comes Malik Smith trying to steal home, and he is out. So the Rays go from first and third, nobody out, to getting nothing as Malik Smith caught trying to steal home. And here it is, down the line he comes. And Maley applying the tag. We're through 3, no score.
run there, but first and third, nobody out. And Malik Smith thinks he's got something on Marco Estrada. A nice adjustment made. He's going to be tagged out. The C.J. Crone, and his reaction to that, I think, says it all.
It's priceless. What is going on? So Malik Smith, maybe a little too aggressive right there, is out trying to steal home, and we go to the fourth with Josh Donaldson leading off. The count is 1-1. Well, you know, all the talk about having fun playing this thing and playing it with exuberance, just a little over the top right there.
There's definitely a there can be a downside. No doubt about that. And, you know, especially too, and you mentioned that reaction of C.J. Crone, because this is one of your run producers who's moved up in the order. He's gotten hot since doing that. He wants the opportunity to drive him in, and you end up running yourself right out of an inning. Once at second, and then obviously at home plate.
That's a strike. Donaldson staring back at the plate umpire, and he's not happy.
No, because Jeremy Rehag is the one that called him out there. Again, looking to call strikes. This is a slider down and away, a check swing, and he is all over it. Not asking for help. He's saying, you know what, I got you right there.
Solarte. Pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, there was a lot of discussion about the strike zone last night on both sides, but the Blue Jays especially took umbrage at some of the ball and strike calls, to the point where John Gibbons was ejected late in the game. C.B. Buckner sent him to the showers early, talking about the length of both their careers, apparently. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You've got to put that story in the next book that you write.
Well, there you go. 1 and 2. Well, they've both been around for quite a while, but still employed. One party thought the other one shouldn't be.
Years ago.
Yeah. 1-2, and a foul ball right back and out of play, so it's still right there. 1 out, base is empty. Pitch count has been very good for Archer so far. That's going to be a base hit. Gomez would try to cut it off, does, and he's going to hold him to a single. Nice job for Gomez to get over there.
I'm going to tell you what, those are the things that don't go in the scorebook that matter, that you know, coaches and evaluators, scouts, everybody notices. Carlos Gomez, that ball off the bat had double written all over it. You just assume double. A great job by Solarte going down to get that pitch below the zone. Deep out into right center field, but the hustle of Carlos Gomez keeps him at first base, and that is a tremendous job by the Rays right field.
1 on, 1 out. And here's Justin Smoke.
Sometimes when the exuberance pays off.
There you are. Yeah, and Gomez, his middle name is Exuberance.
It actually is.
Pitch is outside. Smoke out on a ground ball handled by Brad Miller. Well, the one thing you know about him for sure, he's going to play hard whatever he does. Liner into right, played on 1 hop, and now it'll be first and second. Sharply hit ball by Smoke.
I was going to say, fortunately for the Rays, that ball didn't get elevated because that crack of the bat was loud.
Boy, what a development it has been. You know, he was highly touted early in his career and really put it together with Toronto. And now it's Kevin Pillar.
You know, they leaned on him last year. Jose Bautista was not the Jose Bautista of old. Edwin Encarnacion was in Cleveland, and all of a sudden he said, oh, you need somebody? Okay, I'll get it done for you.
This pitch is up. You know, the numbers you mentioned earlier, 38 home runs, and 11 of those came in the 9th inning or later.
Wow.
I think 10 of them came in the 9th inning out of 38. How about that?
That's,
I mean, that's
yeah,
astounding.
Yeah.
Fly ball into right. Gomez back toward the corner to get this one. And the runners are going to have to stay at first and second. Solarte had gone about halfway down to third. Pillar's the second out.
You talk about defensive placement. How many times does a right-handed hitter go right up the right field line and the right fielder's just waiting for it? Gets a nice jump on it and right over there to make that play.
Gomez has been busy here in the top of the 4th. First and second for the Blue Jays, 2 outs, and Kendrys Morales will step in. He hit a fly ball to left his first time. He is 16 of 32 lifetime against Archer with 3 home runs and 6 doubles. And the fastball is in there for a strike.
A lot of damage too on the fastball. He's been able to turn that pitch around. You wonder if that's still the case. A little bit of a slump right now, or actually a lot of it. I think 4 out of his last 47.
And down 0-2.
Isn't that always the case when you're not swinging the bat well? You feel like they tell you, hitters will tell you. I feel like every time I go to the plate, it's 0-2.
Yep.
Well, here it is.
Second scoring opportunity for Toronto. Pillar doubled with 1 out in the second. Now first and second, and 2 outs here in the 4th inning. Solarte at second, Smoke at first. Morales pops it up back a third. Duffy gives it a chase, but no chance about 6 rows back. Wrap-up game of this series. Rays have taken the first 2. They won here Friday 6-2, 5-3 winners in yesterday's game. No score in this one. And a little piece of it, a foul ball rolling through the base of the screen. Morales, 34 years old. He'll be 35 about the 3rd week of June. Lays off the pitch up. 28 home runs a year ago, drove in 85. And an 18 pitch inning here for Archer. And another foul ball, just a bit of that one. Solarte, the runner, is second. He hit the ball very hard, had it cut off in right center. And then Smoke smoked his base hit to right. That was a hard hit line drive. Close. But that's going to be ball 2. So the count is even. This will be the 8th pitch of this at bat. This is the longest single at bat Archer has experienced so far today. And now the count is full. Well, with 2 outs, the runners will be off on this pitch now.
Morales thought that it was ball 4. He flipped that bat away and was getting ready to head, and Jeremy Rehak had to remind him, like you just said. Now it's 4. There it goes.
Oop. That's only 3. Still takes 4.
Look, I like to call strikes, but I'm not going to go against the rules.
And a ground ball right there as Robertson picks it up and makes the throw to first. 2 men left. We're going to go to the bottom of the 4th. Still no score.
Down a bunch of softball teams and baseball teams from North Tampa, part of the North Tampa Athletic Association. Otis Bass, thanks for joining us. And obviously you come from a big baseball family, a lot of kids here, and it's terrific to team up with the Rays.
Correct, it is, yeah. And oftentimes with these young girls and young boys, it's the first time they get to stand on their own 2 feet. And so a lot of the same synergies that go hand in hand with life, that's what we like to bring as far as the platform goes. And then as you can see, it also is a fabric that weaves the community together.
Well, you're certainly doing a great job up in North Tampa. We appreciate you guys coming all the way down to St. Pete. Seems like we have a lot of Rays fans here, don't we? Yeah! All right, there's going to be a lot more on the play ball weekend all across the Major League Baseball platform. Stay tuned to Rays Live, the post game for that, and the Rays' involvement with play ball later on. They donated $5,000 to the Belmont Heights Little League earlier today before first pitch, guys.
Here's Crone driving one deep to center field. Pillar's going to have to go to the wall, and he makes the catch a step away from the center field wall. So Crone gave that one a ride, hit it sharply, but Pillar caught up with it.
He gets such great reads. That ball right off the bat. Read, now turn, little wasted movement, go back. Eyes never leave the baseball. Very efficient in his route running.
And here's Matt Duffy. Duffy struck out swinging his first time. See how the Rays fare here the second time through. Now a 1-1 count on Duffy.
Well, they've gotten a chance, most of these hitters, to see the fastball, to see the changeup, get a feel for both of them. You know, the slider, maybe you account for that pitch. You know, the curveball has been something that he's used right out of the gate to try to steal a strike to start an at-bat. Well, boils down to the heater and the changeup.
Line drive, and it's going to be off Solarte's glove into right center. Duffy will turn first and hold with a single. So a couple of line drives here in the 4th inning.
Well, that pitch was up and away, and so as we see these Rays hitters do an awful lot of, they'll try to shoot it the other way, and that one right off the top of Solarte's glove. Had a chance to make a spectacular play, couldn't do it. Rays get a little something started.
Here's Brad Miller. Pitch is too high. Miller was on 3 times last night, a base hit and a couple walks. Got into the game here Friday night as a pinch hitter, and in his second at bat, homered. Hot shot, foul toward the bullpen and beyond. Miller belted the home run in the 8th inning out to center field. Gave the Rays a little more cushion, made it 6-2. Scoreless in this game. Good cut, the pitch foul back. Upstairs, snap throw to first, back end standing up. The Rays base runner Matt Duffy. Really not shy about using that strong right arm. The count's full. Rays facing right-hander Marco Estrada.
Well, did the Rays start Matt Duffy? We've already seen them try to put a couple of guys in motion already.
Not going, and there's ball 4 low, and Estrada not happy. So Duffy pushed up to second on the walk to Miller.
Trying to sneak that changeup right to the bottom of the zone. Boy, first of all, you want the hitter to go after that. Good job by Brad Miller to take it. And then you're looking to Jeremy Rehak, who's been looking to call strikes all day.
Yeah, so that was a 2 there for Estrada in the frustration department. How does Miller take that pitch to begin with?
That's really what you're thinking. I mean, certainly you'd love to have it called, but you're like, how in the world do you all of a sudden have that kind of discipline to not go after it?
I mean, that's his pride and joy right there. Estrada to be able to make that pitch 3-2.
Show it some respect is what he's thinking.
Well, here's Wilson Ramos, had a base hit in the 2nd inning, now a 14-game hitting streak. And he takes the first pitch in there, breaking ball. The right side, Out of play. 0-2. Ramos down 0-2. Low. 1-2. Ground ball third, picked up by Donaldson. Out at second and scooped at first by Smoke. They get the big around the horn double play. 5-4-3 started by Josh Donaldson. No runs a hit. The Rays leave one. Miss a scoring opportunity. No score through 4.
We stand ready to serve all military families.
Look at Chris Archer on the mound, set to open the 5th inning against the Blue Jays. Archer got out of a situation in the 4th inning, leaving 2 men aboard. 56 pitches through 4. And here's Anthony Alford. Alford struck out on a slider his first time. Now 1-1. It's 2-1. Liner into center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. And the leadoff man is aboard for Toronto in the 5th.
These Blue Jay hitters, the one thing they want from Chris Archer, if he's going to go with the slider, they want to see that pitch up in the zone. You go chasing it when it's down, it's not going to end up there and you end up fouling it off or swinging over the top of it. But if it's left up in the zone and it flattens out like that one, you've got a chance. And Alfred pokes it out there into center field for a leadoff hit.
Well, he can run over there. Alfred at first base. Luke Maley at the plate. Takes ball 1 upstairs. Bottom part of the order here. 7, 8, and 9. Alfred takes off. Pitch is a strike. Throw is high, and that's a stolen base. He got a good jump, and you can see how quick he is to pick up the steal. Now he's in scoring position.
Man, he was laying in the weeds because the first right there didn't have a big lead the first time. He lengthened it a little bit there. That's still not a huge lead. That just shows you the explosion out of the stance. Gets down to second base on a fastball, no less, pretty easily.
Maley sends a fly ball into deep right. Gomez turned around and still makes the catch. The tag at second. Alfred's going to go to third. Boy, that was a battle for Gomez to corral that one. An opposite field deep fly ball off the bat of Luke Maley.
Well, what you're doing, Dwayne, is you get your body turned the wrong way initially, and now you realize I've got to make the adjustment, but I cannot take my eyes off the ball. And that's what happens. Uh-oh. Well, now you got fancy footwork. Eyes never leave, and he's able to glove it. Nice adjustment made by Carlos.
So for the first time in this game, Toronto with a base runner at third. We've seen the athleticism of Anthony Alford there. He was a football player, outstanding high school quarterback. He played football collegiately in Mississippi. Infield up now with Diaz the hitter, and the pitch is high. 1 ball, no strikes.
Scoreless game, top of the 5th inning, and got that opportunity to get a ball hit on the ground. Maybe look for the strikeout. Conceding nothing.
It's fouled back. 1-1. So Diaz, very, very big hitter here for Archer. Ground ball chopped, grabbed by Miller. Now race to the bag, safe there as Archer takes the toss. The run scores. Boy, a big, big chop. And Diaz has hurt himself hitting the bag and beyond. And so Diaz down on the field inside the right field line, back of first. Take another look at this, the high chop.
Brad Miller flags it down, and it's a race to the bag, decides to flip it late. And you wonder if that ankle, you know, Chris Archer kind of clipped him, the bag. It's the left foot area of Diaz. You see going down the line, catches the inside of that bag and kind of rolled that ankle inwards. And maybe that's it. Watch it as it comes down on that edge. There you go. And then right there to add insult to injury, that got clipped by Chris Archer's right foot on the way by. Right there, and then gets whacked again. Right there.
Diaz not really able to put any pressure on that foot at all.
That would be a very tough loss for this team because he has been impressive in this series here from what we've seen.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna wait for some assistance to get him off the field. He's not really in a position where you'd want to see him try to move by himself or even with help. So Alfred has scored on the high chop off the bat of Diaz. And Diaz injured. So the card's on its way. So Diaz will depart. And they'll move the injured shortstop off the field. Look for a runner to take over at first with one out. 1 run home for Toronto. Gurriel will come off the bench to run.
Attention, please. Running for Diaz, 13, Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
Lourdes Gurriel Jr. will run. He'll take over at first with 1 out. And Archer will deal with the top side of the lineup.
Now that is number 37, Oscar Hernandez.
So Alfred, who opened with the base hit, stole second, went to third on Maley's fly ball. Scores on the infield chop. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. takes over for Diaz at first. Here's Oscar Hernandez about to step in. The first pitch is too low. 1 ball, no strikes. Run on 5 hits for the Blue Jays. Two and 0. Donaldson on deck. Gurriel is back in. Gurriel 1 of 2 in the running department. A strike. 1.
And as of right now, you don't really even consider him a threat based on the length of his lead. Now, that may change, but that little venture off first base was very short. Still is.
Pitch drops low. 2-1. Toronto getting on the scoreboard first. Fly ball back to center. Smith to the track, and he leaps before he gets to the wall, but makes the catch. And back to first base goes Gurriel. Hernandez drove that ball deep toward the right side of center, and Mallex Smith tracks it down.
Getting a read on it and then taking a little leap right here. Really didn't have to. Maybe a comfort thing for Mallex, but at the end of the day, it's about catching the baseball. That's what he did, and the Rays 1 out away from getting out of this 5th inning.
Yeah, there's a guy who knows a little something about going to the wall and making outstanding plays all over center field and beyond. Here's Josh Donaldson. Strike call. Donaldson is grounded out and struck out. He was at odds with the plate umpire when he was out on strikes to open the 4th inning, trying to check his swing. One of 4 strikeouts recorded by Archer. There's a strikeout there on the corner.
And I don't think that Josh Donaldson still is enamored with Jeremy Rehak and his strike zone, or his calls for that matter.
And a cut and a miss. Slider gets him. Damage limited to just the 1 run. 1-0 Toronto.
And here's a peek inside the Rays clubhouse. Even though they have their sights focused on sweeping the Jays, they are certainly sending their best wishes to the Bolts. Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Boston Bruins in Game 5 of their Eastern Conference semifinals, coming up at 3 o'clock. And all the post-game coverage will be right here on Fox Sports Sun immediately following Rays Live, the post-game. Guys?
All right, thank you for that one. And we're wishing the Lightning the very best. Chance to finish off this portion of their quest for the Stanley Cup. Joey Wendell leads it off. 1 strike to count here in the bottom of the 5th.
And we make it a chance, you know, this game moves along a little bit, and the Rays close out a victory, maybe see the last period of that game.
That'd be fun.
Hopefully we don't get to see any licking. That's been a theme of the series.
High foul. It's going to be out of play. 1-2.
Have you seen some of that? No? Brad Marchand?
Yeah, no.
Boston?
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
what is going on?
There's one way, you try to get inside a guy's head. I guess that's one way to try to go about doing it, but it's filthy.
That's a violation.
I mean,
in more ways than one.
I think you could forgive a punch to the the chin with that one. Maybe that's what the league, when they sent him the letter, like, listen, it's going to be open season. You do that again, I mean, that's.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. Wendell out to center. Pilar takes care of that. Just disconcerting here, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of
breaks the rhythm a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of a black cloud here in the booth.
Yeah, I mean, ew.
Well, it started. He was doing it in the Toronto series against the Maple Leafs, and now I guess that's his thing.
Now a new shortstop.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Gurriel Jr. at short. 1-0 the count on Robertson. Oh my. 1-1. Off day tomorrow. And then the Braves come in.
Yeah, we've talked about the Rays' travel schedule and how goofy it's been here to start the season, and it gets even goofier going forward. But how about this week, from a Thursday to a Thursday with 3 off days in an 8-day span? And I know that these players, as much as you appreciate off days, you don't want them now, and you certainly don't want 3 of them within an 8-day span.
Yeah, because then you're going to go, it seems like a month plus and maybe get 1.
Right. Right. And when you really want them, when you get into the, September or August into September, there's really not many out there for you. You're getting them all early here, April, May. Not a big fan of that.
1-2 is popped on the right side, shallow right. Hernandez coming in. 2 up, 2 down, and the Rays 5th. So not much doing here. The second time through so far against Estrada. Here's Malik Smith.
And when you start to look across your scorebook, this game is working out just like Estrada likes. A lot of balls in the air, but softly hit pop-ups. Not going to get many ground balls.
No, he's not a ground ball guy. Malik Smith takes ball 1. There's 2 ground ball, actually 3 ground ball outs because 1 was a double play, but so he's done 2 ground balls and 1 was a double play to end the threat in the 4th inning. Two and 1 with the foul ball backing out of play. Malik has been on base 5 consecutive times, 4 last night with a walk, single walk, and double. The walk his first time up in this one. Two and 2.
All he's trying to do is get you off balance and out of rhythm. Try to mess with the timing of a hitter with that fastball and the changeup. The other pitches are just kind of ancillary to maybe get you thinking about something else. But fastball, changeup take center stage.
And a good takeaway there. And the count is full. Carlos Gomez on deck.
Get him to the plate and let him run into 1.
Ball 4 and on base again for Malik Smith, who heads to first. His 2nd walk. That will get Gomez to the plate with a man on. Reminder, coming up Tuesday on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your local Honda dealers. Blake Snell on the mound for the Rays. We'll hear from him. And Ronald Acuna Jr. coming in with the Braves, and Orestes will break him down. He's part of that offense. The Braves are parading up and down their lineup now.
Yeah, let him go down to the minor leagues. Yeah, everybody thought he was gonna or should have made the team out of spring training. He comes up, just a little while ago. Has already hit a couple of tape measure blasts. Good young players.
Pitch out, nothing doing on Alex Smith down there at first. 1-0.
Well, the guys that can go and have had the opportunity have gone. And so here with 2 outs, trying to get Alex Smith into scoring position. At least that's what the Blue Jays are thinking.
Broken bat, a high pop fly into shallow right center. That's going to fall. Smith hitting third. They're going to have to stop him there. Gomez going to try to go to second. No play. Safely in there. That had some hang time, but perfectly placed on the broken bat popper into right center field.
Boy, I still don't know how that ball is not caught. And even if it's not caught, how the defense is so sloppy, allow Carlos Gomez to get up to second base. Good changeup down and away. Break the bat off the end. That looks like it's the end of the inning. That ball was up there for an awful long time. Everybody kind of standing around. Look at Teoscar Hernandez out there in right field, kind of giving way to Kevin Pillar. He looked like he had the best chance at it. And then Gomez alertly getting into second after another defensive breakdown by the Blue Jays.
Well, a single, double on the, or second on the throw. Now it's second and third on that base hit for the top of the order, Denard Span. And now the pitch is high, and you saw Alex Smith start down the line at third with Donaldson well off the bag. And out in front, 1-1. Smith walked. Gomez got the pop single into short right center and moved to second on the throw back. So it's second and third. And a shot into center field, but Pillar has the range on this one and makes the catch, retiring the side. No runs. 2 men left through 5. 1-0 Toronto. The list in the American League in home runs with 51, 3 more than the Cleveland Indians and 4 up on the Yankees. And that power has been spread throughout their lineup. Solarte has 9. Diaz, who left with the injury, 6. Donaldson 5. Hernandez 5. 3 other players with as many as 4. And here's Solarte to begin the 6th.
Now this lineup has 9 guys sprinkled throughout that are in double digits and runs batted in. Nice to have that kind of production and be able to put together that kind of a lineup.
And Solarte out in front of that one. Nice changeup right there.
Yeah, well, and that's going to be, you know, that's one of those weapons, and we see Chris usually go with that pitch against left-handed hitters. It can be very effective. These guys just aren't looking for it. They don't account for it.
2-1. Smoke on deck. Now to play down the third base side. Tapper. It's handled by Robertson, who was on the first base side of second, so technically it's 6-3. And the first out in the 6th.
Number 14, Justin Smoke.
Justin Smoke. Single in the 4th inning, 1 for 2, just back. Rejoining the club. Out on paternity leave. Welcome the baby girl. There's a foul ball back, strike 1. You know, we're talking about the breakout he's had as a member of the Blue Jays. It's an interesting approach. He'd been selectively aggressive on first pitches. He had over 400 on the first pitch a year ago. This one is high. It's 1-1. And then with 2 strikes, he's got enough power, but he'd get into contact mode. And for him, sometimes contact is a long way.
Yes. Yeah, he creates a lot of leverage with a lot of power, but that's, you know, that's what you call being ready to hit. If these guys are going to try to steal strike 1 with a fastball out over, I'm not going to give it to him.
The opposite side toward the corner. Span is there, 2 gone. 2 up, 2 down in inning 6.
But that's what you know what you're talking about, selectively aggressive, is once you get into that aggressive mindset, sometimes you'll find yourself going after pitches that aren't where you want them on the first pitch, because you get into an aggressive mindset. So to be able to pick and choose and say it's got to be right here and stick to that takes a lot of discipline.
Kevin Pillar pitches upstairs to him. Pillar doubled in the 2nd inning. Now 1-1. The right side toward the line in right. Gomez is right there, and it's a 1-2-3-6. Home half of the inning coming up. C.J. Cron will lead it off. 1-0 Toronto. MLB At Bat, your #1 Rays app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this year. Get Rays home screen icons, features such as MLB TV Game of the Week or Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, TV, and more. Download MLB At Bat today. C.J. Cron leads off. Takes the first pitch for a ball. Archer with 86 pitches through 6. Estrada 86 through 5. And 1-0 here to Cron. Pitch is low, 2-0. Duffy next. And then Miller. Balls, no strikes.
Base runners is still just a 1-run ball game. Takes one. You got a guy at the plate with a lot of power that you know has the green light here. 3-0.
A strike. 3-1. Well, Estrada gave up 31 home runs last year in 33 starts. 9 home runs this year through his first 6, and he walks the leadoff man.
Well, those always seem to come back to haunt you. John Gibbons wasting no time getting his bullpen up.
Well, Matt Duffy will bat. Well, we saw Clippard in the ball game last night. Tyler Clippard throwing in the bullpen. Duffy's hit was a line single into right center his last time up. Fouls it back to the right. Now to play. There's a line drive. Oh, it's caught by Solarte, and they're going to double up Cron. Solarte grabs that one. A liner off the bat appeared to be headed toward right center, but Solarte enough hang time and reach to turn it into a double play.
He gets his revenge on Matt Duffy. The last time that Matt Duffy shot a ball that way off the top of his glove for a base hit. This one he gets up, gets it, and catches Cron off. Boy, a quick turn and throw. Able to get it over his right shoulder, and Smoke able to make that play. How about that?
Brad Miller pops it up. Maile after it, foul territory, but runs out of room.
That was a nice catch.
Yeah, great catch down there. No problem with that one. Kind of makes you thirsty.
You deserve it. Have one for me. And Dwayne.
That's right. Foul ball back, 0-2.
Looked like Scott Kazmir. It looked like a younger Scott Kazmir.
He would have one for you and me.
And Rick and Brad, Gary.
Hey, you helped him along in your role.
No. I chased him down.
There's a fly ball into center. Hernandez is there and right to make the catch. So Miller goes out to right field. That fan with a great catch. 1-0 Toronto. after severely turning an ankle, it appeared. And they'll play at the bag at first. So now we go to the 7th. Here's Morales to lead it off. Morales lifts a fly ball toward left center, and Span is there on the track. One gone here in the 7th inning. Now Anthony Alford. Well, Alford has scored the game's only run when he opened the 5th inning with a base hit. He started his pro career in the Toronto system in 2012. There's a strike. Kind of piecemealed his baseball career because he went to college, played football at Southern Mississippi, and then at Ole Miss. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Yeah, that'd be so difficult to do both because both require a ton of time to be able to put it, especially baseball, where you think about the timing and hitting, and guys that spend so much time in the cage, and you're just not able to do that. Split time.
1-2, and as a result, when he was in the Gulf Coast League, from one year to the next, he'd play only a handful of games, half dozen games. 5 games, 6 games one year, 9 games one year. Lines it into right. Gomez closes and makes the catch. 2 gone. But the Blue Jays were so impressed with his athleticism, they said, we'll take what we can get and see what happens. And now he's at a point where they're going to find out.
Well, they are. We said it game 1. They're trying to get younger. They're trying to get more athletic. There you go. Exhibit A.
Here's Luke Maley. Strike on the outside part of the plate. One ball, 2 strikes. Bit wide right there. 2-2. Fastball 96. On the 95th pitch of the afternoon by Archer. The pitch count's been excellent today for him. Hasn't walked anybody. 5 strikeouts. He's given up 5 hits and 1 run. The 2-2 to Maley. He got him, struck him out to retire the side. 1, 2, 3, go the Blue Jays. 7th inning stretch time, 1-0 Toronto. 7th inning stretch. The Rays are down by 1. Wilson Ramos extended his hitting streak to 14, his first time up with a 2nd inning single. Chris Archer's given up just that 1 run, 5 hits with no walks through 7. Marco Estrada has been tough, and his day is complete now after 6 innings.
And, and he's had to be, because Chris Archer's just given up the 1 run. Marco Estrada, 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, did have 4 walks, and when he found himself behind guys, he was not going to give in. Kind of pitched around the walks, got some help defensively, and a nice bounce back start here for Marco. Puts his team in a position to win, however small that margin may be, and he's going to give way now here to Tyler Clippard, who's on for the 19th time, and the Rays saw him last night.
Clippard gave up a run, worked the 8th inning in last night's game. And here's Wilson Ramos. And a base hit through the hole on the left side. So Ramos is aboard, reaching for the 2nd time.
Well, and once again, wasting no time. Wilson Ramos, he likes to swing the bat. He likes to do it early in the count. Get a pitch here that just hangs up around the letters, actually. And he just gets on top, rifles the ball into left field, and here we go.
Well, 3 of the 7 innings, the Rays have put the leadoff man aboard in any 1 inning. Yet to score. First pitch to Joey Wendell is a ball wide. Wendell twice has gone out to the center fielder Kevin Pillar. 293 on the year for the Rays' 2nd baseman. It's a strike, 1-1. Two and one. Rays have some action in their bullpen. See Daniel Robertson on deck. Matt Andriese throwing in the bullpen. And it's popped up short left. Gurriel out from shortstop to make the catch.
Well, taking a page out of Marco Estrada's playbook right there. Tyler Clippard with a couple of good changeups to Joey Wendell to get him a little out in front, get a soft pop-up. Estrada did all afternoon.
Daniel Robertson. Robertson twice has hit the ball into the air, center field and right field. A strike on the outer part of the plate. Well, the Rays still looking to get on the board. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. You know, 1-0 ball game. And Robertson is in the hole. 0-2. Robertson right now 2 of his last 21 after he had put together the 7-game hitting streak and had 4 straight multiple hit games.
The ebbs and flows of a season.
Yep. That's kind of the nature of hitting.
You think about how many at bats these guys get, especially if you're out there every day. Hundreds.
Upstairs. 1-2.
try to have the same consistent approach all season long, but it's extremely difficult. And you've got to be able to manage the highs. At the same time, you've got to be able to manage the lows.
And a cut and a miss. Robertson out number 2. All of this after the leadoff single. Ramos still over at first now with 2 gone. You see that split just floating up there.
You know, you pick up the tumbling nature of that pitch and you know what it is, and you're expecting, you know, that pitch that starts up in the zone, it usually stays up in the zone. It'll drop a little bit. That one never came down. Very often, or not very often, you see a split jump over a bat.
Strike 1 to Malik Smith. Alex has walked twice, has a stolen base. Was caught trying to steal home in the 3rd when the Rays had something going, and as quickly as they threatened, it was gone. It's out of play, and the count is 0-2. Right-hander Tepera up in the bullpen. Ryan Tepera getting loose. And Malik's out on that pitch up. 2 strikeouts for Clippard. No runs, a hit, and a man left. We go to the 8th. 1-0 Toronto.
Was an impressive one. Got 7 innings in the books. Had the slider working, moved the fastball around the zone, and take advantage of this aggressive Toronto lineup. You know, they came out swinging it off him early, and that allowed him to stay efficient with the pitch count. You see, he ended up with just 97 pitches in the 7 innings, gave up 1 run, didn't walk anybody. That helps. And now he will give way to Matt Andriese. This Rays bullpen needs to come in, throw up a couple of zeros, and the Rays offense needs to get busy.
Well, Matt Andriese, the new Rays pitcher. He'll face the number 9 hitter, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., making his first plate appearance of the day. Taking over for Diaz, who was injured. Matt throws a strike. X-rays for Diaz on his ankle were negative. They'll do an MRI next. So right now they're calling it a sprain.
And that's the one that you're always concerned with. You see a guy roll an ankle, you know, the x-rays being negative, you're hoping for, of course, but it's the soft tissue. And that's what they'll be able to see with that MRI. But, you know, anytime you're being carted off the field like he was, just hope it's not that bad.
Larger gave the Rays, as you mentioned, 97 pitches, but 7 innings, so he was pretty efficient on the afternoon.
Well, we talked about it early in the game. You know, 2 of the first 3 Toronto hitters right out of the gate swinging at the first pitch kind of let you know that they were ready to go. And so if you could make quality pitches, you could get some quick outs.
Top of the order, Hernandez on deck. Oscar Hernandez. Line drive, base hit off the bat of Gurriel Jr. Span over quickly to make the pickup. Leadoff man aboard here in the 8th.
I have to have some quick hands to get that ball into left field. That ball looked like it was working its way in on him. And Gurriel Jr. able to slap it out there and get leadoff base runner aboard here for Toronto. Ball's coming in. Look how he pulls the hands real close to the body. That's an impressive job there.
Now Hernandez, the top of the order. Into the screen, foul. Well, the Rays started the day a game under 500. Third time they've tried to get back to the 500 mark. They were 1-2 at one point. This is actually the 4th time they're trying to get back. 3 times they've been a game under, so the 4th time they've tried to get to 500. They've not been able to do it the first 3 times. Good pitch there by Andriese, 0-2. They were 1-2. They were 12-13, and then 13-14. Right now, 15-16. The cut and a miss. So Hernandez out on strikes.
Matt Andriese making quick work. You see the changeup. That's that changeup that will resemble at times a slider. That little side spin. Get you on some late movement, get you on the change of speed.
That'll be Josh Donaldson. Donaldson 0 for 3, a couple strikeouts against Archer. And on the corner for a strike at 93. This is the longest outing for Archer in terms of innings since last August, when he went 7 innings against the Blue Jays in Toronto on August 17th. 7 innings today. Donaldson getting time granted by the plate umpire. Ground ball third, nice pickup down to second, and a good pickup there to get the lead man. Well, a scoop by Duffy, and then his throw was a challenge for Wendell, who met it, and a nice grab down there, scooping that one at second.
Boy, in a 1-run game, everything looms large, and that throw wide, and Joey Wendell keeping the foot on the bag and able to corral that wide throw. Results could have been disastrous there.
Well, the hitter is Solarte. Jan Hervé Solarte And a hit in 3 at-bats, singled in the 4th inning. And the pick low there by Ramos. A ball, no strikes. Well, the Rays down by a run. They'll have to do it against the Toronto bullpen. Two and 0.
And that'll be challenging too. This Toronto bullpen, one of the top bullpens in the game.
Yeah, they've been good. Their bullpen ERA is a little over 2.9.
They really loaded up out there. We've seen Tyler Clippard, John Axford, Roberto Osuna is back. Got a lot of different styles, some hard throwers, proven guys. Even Ryan Tepera, making that next step. He's become a real lean on go-to guy. Always has had good stuff and has really put it together.
Yeah, there's a bullpen breakout there. Atop the list in the American League. Houston next.
Pretty sizable advantage too. The only team under 3.
Well, a walk on 4 pitches to Solarte will push Donaldson up to second base. And Justin Smoke will be the hitter. And we know how dangerous he can be. Coming off his 38 home run season a year ago, and 1 for 3 today. Takes ball 1. A couple of things he's done in Toronto. Now Andri's going to get a visit here from Kyle Snyder. A couple of things for Smoke. He has become a more patient hitter than he was earlier in his career. And with that power, he's hit the ball in the air a little bit more. And that translated into the home runs last year, 38 of them.
Well, that's been the trend around baseball. All these hitters trying to find ways. How can I tweak my swing? Not too much to get away from what I do well, but enough to get more balls, in the air. Is it pitch selection? Is it a little tweak with my hands? How I approach the swing path, whatever it may be. And he's one of those guys, you get stronger guy getting the ball in the air more often. Extra base hits, home runs naturally will go up.
Andres picks up a strike.
The problem that you've run into is with all of that, guess what else is going up? Lots of strikeouts.
Yep.
Set a new record in Major League Baseball every season.
Well, and you think about it, if you're trying to lift all the time, you're in and out of the strike zone a lot quicker than you were maybe before. And that translates into strikeouts.
You think about the longer, flatter swings that are in the zone for a long time, and that's where guys want that happy medium. I want my bat in the zone a long time, but with the ability to get the ball in the air. And that,
look at these numbers against Andres too.
He's due to get him out here one more time.
And he gets him. A foul tip strikeout right into the mitt of Ramos. 2 men left. 1-0. Gomez to lead it off. Brandon Geyer becoming the first Ray to homer in his first major league plate appearance. A couple other guys had walked and then homered, homering in their first official major league at bats. The first was Esteban Yan, but in his very first plate appearance and major league at bat, Brandon Geyer on this date in 2011. Here's Carlos Gomez. Fouls the first pitch away, delivered by Ryan Tepera. Pitcher number 3 on the mound now for Toronto.
Well, 18th game. He's got 17 punch-outs, 15 2/3. Has surrendered 3 home runs.
It's 1-1. Tepera, 30 years old, out of Sam Houston State. 2-1 to count.
Well, this is one of those counts that Carlos Gomez, already an aggressive hitter, can really start to think about turning it loose.
And he does, bouncing it foul. 2-2.
I'm not really sure why I said think about turning it loose. He always turns it loose.
He does. On that we can be sure. Couple of hits in this game, 2 singles. And a high fly ball. That baby's gonna go back to the wall and get out of here. Home run for Gomez. This game is tied. Gomez 3 for 3. It's his 5th home run of the year.
Let's go!
Giving the Rays some offense out of that number 9 spot today.
I got a hanging slider. Even been a curveball. Whatever it was, it just spun, stayed up, flattened out, and Gomez, that little leg kick, timing mechanism, and see you later.
And a ground ball to the left side by Span. And he's thrown out by Gurriel. It's the first out. So the long ball and the home run. Here's C.J. Cron. It's wide, 1 ball, no strikes. The Rays got Alex Colomé up in the bullpen. He's been in both games of this series. It's fouled out of play. C.J. Cron out on strikes, a line drive to center and a walk in the 6th inning. Two one. Foul the other way. Well, Toronto right now with the runs, 6 hits, no errors. The Rays are the runs, 6 hits, no errors. Jays have left 6. The Rays have stranded 5.
Boy, evenly played game all afternoon, and
Another foul ball out of play.
Well, that's what you would expect. You know, the Rays play an inordinate number of close games. How many one-run games on the season already? Looks like you could have another one here.
They're 5-10 in one-run games, and just by the construct of this team, you'd figure you're going to have some close games. Three and two.
Well, now you try to figure out how to make that 5-10, 10-5 going forward. It's a play here or a play there.
Crone has 7 home runs on the year. He takes a big cut and fouls that one back. You know, the one thing about Gomez going down into that 9 spot, you know, he was hitting up in the order third. He's going to be aggressive anyway, and getting down might free him up a little bit. I mean, he's still going to be aggressive and swing that bat the way he can. We've seen it today. And there's a walk. Crone draws the base on balls. Second time he's walked today.
Well, he's not, you know, in such a high profile position within the lineup. You know, the middle of the lineup, you're certainly not going to ignore him. I mean, it's still Carlos Gomez, but you kind of hide out down there in that 9 hole. He gives you another guy with speed at the bottom of the order that can run a little bit. Speaking of that,
Refsnyder is going to run for Crone. Rob Refsnyder, the pinch runner. Matt Duffy will be the hitter. Duffy 1 for 3. His hit a single in the 4th inning. He takes ball 1. A little low there. Not by much. Duffy hit the ball hard in the 6th inning. Axford up in the bullpen. Who's a hard throwing right-hander. Solarde made that leaping catch and turned that line drive into a double play in the 6th. Over to first. Refsnyder to the back of the bag. And a balk. A balk called by the plate umpire. And out comes Gibbons, who was ejected yesterday, and now he's going to be ejected again.
It's 47.
That's 47. That's right. Right on that. Field and Colbert coming in from second base. Tepera was talking with him. Now he cautions him to stay back while Colbert joins the conversation with Gibbons. Well, Tepera had given up the home run, then got the ground ball. He walked Crone, and with Refsnyder at first, he went over, and we'll take a look. Well, they want the step. That's close. That's, I mean, that's really close.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing. Making that call from behind the plate is where John Gibbons, you know, got hot, and I don't blame him.
Boy, I'll tell you.
Jeremy Rehag looking to make calls today.
Yep. There's a base hit into right field. Refsnyder will stop at third. Hernandez got to the ball quickly in short right. And the Rays hold Refsnyder. Well, the Rays got the base hit they were looking for.
Well, you remember in that Detroit series when Matt Quintraro down there at third base sent Wilson Ramos and was thrown out by a wide margin, and since then been a little bit more conservative. Here's a chance. Do you send him? Do you not? Well, he's got to make the call based on the arm out there, where he's at. Probably the right call there. Not quite to third base as that ball got into right field. Last time that happened, Rays did not cash in. They had first and third, nobody out, got nothing.
First and third, one out here in the 8th, and Brad Miller is the hitter. And a conference on the hill. Well, the Rays with the go-ahead run 90 feet away. Miller with a fly ball to right in the 6th. Grounded out his first time, walked in between. TBA all set. Pitch into Miller. That's a strike.
That's a tough strike to get on the first pitch of an at-bat. A backdoor slider that looked to be well off the plate. Brad Miller determined, right back to work. Infield, not all the way in, but they're close.
Upstairs, 1-1. Miller 2 for 7 in his career against TBA with a home run. He's the one guy on this Rays club who has an extra base hit off TBA, and that was a homer.
A bit of a choke up by Brad.
Upstairs, now 2-1.
Doing a nice job so far of not expanding the zone and trying to force TBA into it.
Wilson Ramos on deck. Rays have tied it on the home run by Gomez. First and third, one out. Miller misses, and it's 2-2. Mid-90s there from TBA at 95.
Oh, and he tried to open up and took a big swing. You don't blame 2-1 count. Now you got to think about putting that ball in play. TBA is going to be going for the strikeout here, as well he should. Brad Miller's got to be thinking about the middle of the field, put the ball in play, force the defense to make a play.
Two, and a cut and a miss. Miller strikes out. TBA went to the hard stuff twice there to get the strikeout. Fastball again, 95.
Yeah, I mean, went right back to the well, trying to get it right around the hands, just above the belt with good velocity, and he does pick up that strikeout. Rays down to their last chance here. Good guy at the plate, though.
Wilson Ramos, 2 hits today to extend the hitting streak to 14. Low and away. Up the right side, that ball will be foul beyond the bullpen. Hernandez hustling over there. Ramos, a couple of ground ball outs in his career against TBA. Trying to come up with a big 2-out 8th inning hit. It's away. 2 balls and a strike. cut and a miss. Hard stuff there.
He has really started to lean on that fastball at 95 or 96, moving it around the strike zone. You throw that pitch in on a hitter like you did with Brad Miller, and it is so tough to get to if it's elevated at the hands to try to pull him through on a pitch with such velocity.
The 2-2. Foul back. At the very top of the zone and in a bit.
Really tough. Really tough to get to. Not an easy pitch to make, though.
Two again. A little tapper, third base side. And the throw from Donaldson in time. Rays settled for 1 run on the home run by Gomez. They leave 2, and we're going to head into the 9th with this game tied 1-1. There's the blast by Carlos Gomez. And a great catch out there. Toyota, let's go places. And by your local Honda dealer. Rays and the Blue Jays wrapping up their 3-game series. Carlos Gomez belting his 5th home run of the year to tie this game in the bottom of the 8th. And we go to the 9th with Alex Colomé on the hill, making his 16th appearance. He faces Kevin Pillar to open the 9th. Pitch is upstairs. Colomé entered last night's game in the 8th inning and picked up a 5-out save. You got Donaldson and Solarte to end the 8th, and then Pillar, Martin, and Morales to end the game. Ball's behind Pillar. It's 2-0.
He can be a workhorse coming out of that bullpen for Kevin Cash and pick up those 4- and 5-out saves. He's been throwing the ball much better as of late. The mix of pitches has been a whole lot better.
That's a big cut. 2-1.
At the ease at which he's throwing that cutter now, and at times just like that pitch will resemble more of a slider than an actual cutter. But it looks to be coming out of the hand a little easier, more four-seam fastballs.
Base hit.
Better go.
Shot into left center field. Span trying to get there. Pillar's on his way to second and has a double. Well, that ball was traveling in a hurry.
Yeah, that's how hard he hit that ball. You could hear the crack of the bat. Another one of those balls that you knew was smoked. This is a four-seam fastball he's able to get fully extended on and hammers this ball. And you see where the defense has him played as far as the outfielders go. It just splits them. Span's got to chase it down deep out into left center field, closer to center field, and that allowed Pilar to get to second base.
Well, here's Morales. Kinsley Morales 0 for 3 today. And he takes a strike. Roberto Osuna throwing in the bullpen now for the Blue Jays. On one. Osuna, the double for Pilar. As we mentioned, his second of the day, his 15th of the season. He's tied with Eduardo Escobar, the Twins, for the major league lead in doubles. 2-1, a take by Morales. Morales 0 for his last 22 right now. Alfred on deck. Chop right side. Over to first. Robertson, who is the shortstop, is on the right side, so in the shift that'll go 6-3, and over to third goes Pilar.
Well, runner on third, less than 2. All the defenders creep in. Everybody got their head in the dugout. See what they want them to do, and here they are.
Anthony Alford is the hitter. He singled and scored the run for the Blue Jays in the 5th inning. Also stole a base. Infield up. Oh, and this one skips by Ramos. And across comes Pilar to give Toronto a 2-1 lead. That's a wild pitch charged to Colomé, and the Blue Jays take the lead.
Well, that is a tough way to see a run come home. This ball down, and clearly Wilson Ramos not expecting that, and instead of flipping that glove over trying to block it, he tries to backhand it and is able to squeeze through the 5-hole.
There's a strike. It's 1-1. Well, what really makes that frustrating is not to take anything away from Alford, but he's a young player still trying to get his feet on the ground, and you figure if you can get him, there's a fly ball into right field, and Gomez takes care of that for the second out.
And Dwayne, you're right about that. And you know what? A lot of people at home sitting here going, well, listen, he just flew out to deep right. That was going to get the run home anyway. You may have pitched him completely different with that runner still at third. So you have no idea how this at-bat would have turned out. And I agree 100% with what you're saying. You got a chance to pick up a strikeout.
Yep. So now 2 gone. There's Ryan Stanek throwing in the bullpen for the Rays. Just back up from Durham. Maley swings and misses for a strike. Nothing in 2. Blue Jays have taken a lead here, 2-1. They have Osuna ready to enter this game. Ground ball third. Duffy's throw is there in time. So we'll go to the bottom of the ninth. Toronto with a run in the top half of the inning will take a 2-1 lead in. Duffy grabbed by Solarte at second base and turning it into a double play in the 6th inning. That was after the leadoff walk to Cron. And now we go to the bottom of the 9th. Rays are down by a run. Joey Wendell set to lead it off, and they're going to face the right-hander Roberto Osuna. On for the 15th time.
Now right there is what you want to look at. He's going to be around the plate. 12 strikeouts, just 1 walk in his 14 games, covering 14 1/3.
Well, it's Wendell, Robertson, and Smith due up. Rays need a run to keep it going, 2 to win it. The cut and a miss. Wendell 0 for 4. A couple of fly balls to center and a pop handle by the shortstop. A little close right there. It's 1-1. Ground ball back of first, foul. 1-2. Well, Osuna, only 23 years old. He has 100 saves.
Pretty good pace. Pretty good pace he's setting. He was thrown into the fire, obviously, at a young age.
And he gets Wendell reaching. Maley with his toss down to Smoke. And that's the first out.
Well, you're going to go off speed like that. The changeup, and you're going to pick up the swing and a miss, and you're going to rely on your catcher there to try to block this thing and keep it in front. And Luke Maley does a nice job of smothering that.
Well, Daniel Robertson looks for his first hit. He's in upstairs. Robertson looking at an 0 for 3 day. Oh, 1-1. coming in on him on his hands, and he fouls it.
Well, now that you've established that, you start to wonder if now Osuna tries to exploit down and away, or comes back up and in. That's what pitching in will do. You start to, hitters start to question. Now, no way he's going to come back in there again, right? Start to look away, you get him thinking. Tough way to hit. They're going to bring that heater up.
And it's up a bit too much. 2-2.
Good no chase, though. That was definitely a pitch that you'll see a lot of hitters go after. Daniel Robertson has shown that ability to not expand his zone.
Ground ball. There's a base hit up the middle. So after taking that pitch up, he singles off the 2-2 delivery, and the Rays have a base runner.
Quality at bat. Does not expand the zone, gets it off speed, that slider that you can handle, uses the middle of the field. That was a classic workman-like at bat there by Daniel Robertson, and keeps the Rays alive.
Here's Malik Smith, 1 on, 1 out. Malik has been on twice, struck out his last time. And he fouls it. He was swinging at the fastball, first pitch fastball, strike 1.
You know, you see teams now starting to try to crowd Malik Smith. You know, early in the season, red hot, doing what? A lot of times shooting the ball the other way, a lot of pitches away. And so teams are saying, you know what, forget that. He's going to take his base hit the other way. We're going to start forcing him to speed things up on pitches in. So you've seen more of that, and that's right where Osuna went. Going to go in there again.
This is with it, 1-1.
This is where you see that the game of adjustments over a season start to take hold.
Fouls it back. Fastball. It's 1-2. One on, 1 out with Smith the hitter. Carlos Gomez on deck. And Malik stays alive, fouling it away.
Yeah, not easy too. The changeup, and I'm sure Osuna, you know, he wanted that down where he was able to get Joey Wendell with it. That one stayed in the middle of the plate, and see Malik's just following it down, doing what he has to do to stay alive.
One, 2. Ground ball chopped to the right side. Out at second, safe at first. No play there as they get the force on Robertson. So 2 outs. Rays live the post game presented by WB Mason just around the corner. Rich and Orestes will host. We'll hear from Kevin Cash in his press conference and sound from the bullpen, from the clubhouse.
Well, now you think about Malik Smith. Roberto Osuna in his 14 games has given up 1 stolen base in 1 attempt. 2 outs.
Smith the runner, and Carlos Gomez 3 for 3 on the day, homered in the 8th, and he takes a strike. Fastball away from him. Here's the home run that came against Tepera. Started and checked. It's a ball. 1-1. Well, the Rays' 4th attempt to get back to the 500 mark. Right now they're down 2-1. And again, a check swing as Gomez started to go and then using that strength to stop. 2-1.
Showing restraint. This is beginning to be an epic at bat here by Carlos Gomez.
Yeah. And you've seen the battle it is for him to show restraint and hold up in time. Two-one pitch. Ooh, and that's fouled off the mask of Luke Maley, and he didn't want to swing at all, didn't want to make contact, tried to check again. And now the count is 2-2.
This is what you're talking about, Dwayne. That ball's running up and in, and he's trying to hold up there. That's an unfortunate strike.
Two balls, two strikes. Osuna on the hill. Gomez at the plate. And a broken bat, short hop to third. Donaldson to smoke, and that ends it. Toronto with a run in the top of the ninth inning will salvage the final game of the series. It's a 2-1 final. Took 2 hours and 56 minutes to play it. Tepera is going to get the win. Osuna his 9th save. Colome suffers the loss. He is 2-4. 2-7-0 with 6 left for the Blue Jays. For the Rays, 1 run, 8 hits, no errors with 8 men left. Again, 2 hours and 56 minutes. For Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast, if not the outcome. 2-1 the final. Rays Live. The post game is next.